Welcome to Smart Updates, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. I bet you didn't know that a rusting World War II ship could be at the center of one of Asia's most dangerous maritime standoffs. In the South China Sea, the BRP Sierra Madre, a rusted World War II landing craft, lies aground on Second Thomas Shoal. Deliberately placed there by the Philippines in 1999, it serves as a makeshift outpost and a symbol of the country's claim to the Spratly Islands. A handful of Marines endure harsh conditions, surrounded by the sea and under constant watch by Chinese vessels. Their mission: maintain a Philippine presence and assert sovereignty over Ayungin Shoal. The ship's decaying hull mirrors the fragile peace and the ongoing struggle for control in these contested waters. Second Thomas Shoal sits well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, as defined by international law. Yet, China claims nearly the entire South China Sea, including this shoal, based on its 9-dash line, a claim rejected by an international tribunal in 2016. The Sierra Madre has become a flashpoint. Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia frequently harass Philippine resupply missions, turning routine deliveries into tense standoffs. These gray zone tactics are designed to wear down Philippine resolve and force abandonment of the outpost. Each day the Sierra Madre remains is an act of defiance, a testament to the Philippines' determination to defend its maritime territory. And the world watches, knowing that the fate of this rusting ship could tip the balance in a region fraught with tension. The struggle for Second Thomas Shoal is about far more than a decaying vessel. It's about sovereignty, law, and the future of the South China Sea. The BRP Sierra Madre began as the USS Harnett County, a U.S. Navy tank landing ship in World War II. It served in the Pacific, then in Vietnam, before being transferred to the Republic of Vietnam Navy. After the fall of Saigon, it fled to the Philippines and was eventually renamed after the Sierra Madre mountain range. For decades, it served as a transport ship, but its most critical mission began in 1999. In response to China's occupation of Mischief Reef, the Philippines deliberately grounded the Sierra Madre on Second Thomas Shoal. The goal: create a permanent marker of Philippine sovereignty and prevent further Chinese expansion. The ship, now in advanced decay, is home to Marines who endure isolation, unsanitary conditions, and constant surveillance. Minor repairs are often blocked by Chinese vessels, leaving the ship vulnerable to the elements. The Sierra Madre's battered state reflects the precariousness of the Philippines' position in the South China Sea. Its presence is a daily reminder of Manila's refusal to be intimidated by a larger neighbor. The ship's journey from war machine to symbol of resistance mirrors the shifting tides of Southeast Asian geopolitics. Its fate is now inseparable from the struggle for control in these contested waters. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade and a treasure trove of resources. Multiple countries, China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan, vie for control of its islands and reefs. China's sweeping 9-dash line claim covers nearly 90% of the sea, overlapping with its neighbors' exclusive economic zones. In 2013, the Philippines challenged China's claims at an international tribunal. The 2016 ruling favored the Philippines, declaring China's historic rights invalid and affirming the Philippines' rights over features like Second Thomas Shoal. China rejected the ruling and has since built artificial islands, equipped with military facilities, to enforce its claims. Its Coast Guard and maritime militia intimidate rivals and block access to contested features. This defiance of international law fuels instability and raises the risk of conflict. The South China Sea's future hinges on whether law or force will decide its fate. The world's eyes remain fixed on these waters, where every move could have global repercussions. Imagine a morning when a Chinese flotilla surrounds the BRP Sierra Madre. Using water cannons and loudspeakers, they drive off Philippine supply boats and declare a salvage operation. Chinese personnel board the ship, ordering the Marines to evacuate under the guise of safety or environmental protection. The Marines face a stark choice: resist and risk conflict, or stand down and watch as China attaches tow lines to the rusting hull. The slow, deliberate removal of the Sierra Madre would be a spectacle, broadcast to the world as proof of China's control. This act would cross a dangerous line, turning gray zone tactics into open aggression. It would be a direct violation of Philippine sovereignty and a dramatic escalation in the South China Sea. For China, it's a show of strength. For the Philippines, a national crisis. The world would be forced to confront the reality that force, not law, now rules these contested waters. The Philippines would respond with outrage, issuing strong diplomatic protests and summoning the Chinese ambassador. The president would address the nation, framing the event as a grave assault on sovereignty. Militarily, Manila's options are limited. A direct confrontation would be risky and likely futile. Instead, the Philippines would document the incident, gather evidence, and rally international support. Allies like the US, Japan, and Australia would be called upon, as Manila frames China's action as a threat to the rules-based order. Domestically, nationalist sentiment would surge, with protests and political pressure mounting. The government would face demands for a strong response, while managing a dangerous crisis. The long-term impact accelerated military modernization and a renewed push for international backing against Chinese expansion. The US and the Philippines are bound by a mutual defense treaty. In recent years, Washington has affirmed that an armed attack on Philippine forces in the South China Sea would trigger its commitments. China's forcible removal of the Sierra Madre would put this promise to the test. Even without shots fired, seizing a commissioned Philippine naval vessel could be seen as an armed attack. The US would face immense pressure to act. Failure would undermine its credibility across Asia. Washington's response could range from fierce condemnation and sanctions to increased military presence and joint patrols. The goal: impose costs on China and deter further aggression without escalating to war. The nightmare scenario is a miscalculation leading to direct conflict between US and Chinese forces. Even a limited clash would have devastating global consequences. The fate of a rusting ship could ignite a great power crisis. The world holds its breath, hoping restraint prevails. China would justify its actions as lawful, claiming the Sierra Madre was an illegal structure in its territory. State media would frame the removal as an environmental and humanitarian act, citing the ship's decay and supposed danger to Marines. These arguments are designed to muddy the waters and complicate international condemnation. After towing the ship, China would quickly move to solidify control, deploying maritime militia, blocking Philippine access, and possibly starting land reclamation. A new artificial island could rise, complete with military facilities. This would be a strategic victory, eliminating a symbol of Philippine resistance and expanding China's reach. The message: China enforces its claims, and the world must adapt. The removal of the Sierra Madre would send shockwaves through Southeast Asia. Vietnam and Malaysia would fear their own outposts could be next, sparking an arms race and deepening regional insecurity. ASEAN's credibility would suffer, divided between members seeking condemnation and those aligned with China. Economic fallout would follow. Shipping costs would rise, supply chains would be disrupted, and local fishermen would lose vital livelihoods. Global powers like Japan, Australia, and the UK would step up their presence, challenging China's claims. The world would become more polarized, with maritime democracies confronting China's assertiveness. The risk of miscalculation and conflict would grow, spreading instability far beyond the South China Sea. The fate of one ship could reshape the region's security landscape. The BRP Sierra Madre is more than a rusting hulk. It's a symbol of the struggle between law and force. Its fate tests whether international law or military might will shape the future of the South China Sea. The 2016 tribunal ruling affirmed the Philippines' rights, but if China removes the ship, it signals that power trumps law. This would undermine the post-war order and embolden aggressive states worldwide. The US alliance system and the credibility of collective security are on the line. The South China Sea is a global commons. Its freedom is vital for trade and peace. The struggle over the Sierra Madre is a battle for a free and open Indo-Pacific. The outcome will determine whether rules or force govern the seas. Allowing the ship's removal without a united response would set a dangerous precedent. That's why the world cannot afford to ignore the fate of a single rusting ship on a remote shoal.